Welcome back to another video. I am a little under the weather today, so my planned video was going to be originally about how to figure out a canvas, but because I'm under the weather, I thought it'd be kind of fun to just do a kind of like a background video and how I've been feeling about digital creating for close to 10 years now. I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and I learned from those mistakes. When I first started YouTube back in late 2017, I just wanted to just do time lapses because I was horrible on camera, and I just, I can have a full-blown conversation, and all the guys and gals that know me in the real world, they know sometimes I can't shut up. So I don't know why I couldn't transfer that to on camera until I got a lot more comfortable in front of the camera. And that's one of the things that I had to learn to do, because you just can't grow a channel faceless. As much as these stupid AI channels try to tell you that you can be a faceless channel, you have to show yourself or talk, realistically. You have to be original and be genuine. And the thing is I've always been super genuine on this channel. I knew that I wasn't going to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars or have millions of subscribers. I was realistic in my YouTube channel. So the small growth I had in the beginning, I just took that and I was like, all right, this is fine. So then whenever I drew or did a commission, I would just record it. But it was growing really slowly. So then the pandemic hit, and that's when I kind of delved into short form content on TikTok. And I didn't realize that I could take those short form videos and upload them on YouTube, and then YouTube released the shorts. So I had short form videos on YouTube before they were the shorts came out. So then one of my short videos, immediately took off. I knew it was going to be short-lived because then everybody was going to start putting out short form. But that's when my channel grew from like only 1,000 subscribers. I think I went to like 5,000 or 4,000 by the end of the year. And I started noticing like, hey, these short form videos. So then that was my second trap. I started focusing almost entirely on short form because I can turn a 2-hour drawing into, 5 or 4 30-second videos, just by speeding them up. And it wasn't super authentic, there's so many artists out there that do the same thing. So I had to differentiate myself. So I took some time off, and around that same time, I was already back in college, just to try to finish my commercial art degree. And my full intention to go back to school was literally just to finish my commercial art degree. But then I fell in love with teaching, because I was teaching off and on for years, but it was just something I did as just supplemental income. And while in college, a lot of the professors were telling me, is like, you are really good at teaching, because the other students gravitate towards you. And so I decided, okay, I'll continue my schooling and just get enough certification so I can become a teacher. So during that time, I started substitute teaching, and then I became a long-term sub, and YouTube just really went to the back burner, because for the first time in my life, my health was okay. Like I wasn't, I was still having back issues, but it didn't keep me from drawing. Nothing keeps me from drawing. I'm bedridden right now, and it's not keeping me from drawing. The only spot that I can feel comfortable outside of bed is on a recliner or in my wheelchair, because I have my legs propped up. but I noticed that I really had this urge to start creating again, but not just time-lapse videos. I wanted to go full-blown this time because I just, I always feel this need to share knowledge. Knowledge is to be shared. And for those of you who want to pursue YouTube as a, I don't say it's a career path, but just, excuse me, an outlet to share your creativity. One of the best rules for that is consistency. You know, I try to put out a long form video at least twice a week. On the low end, I'll do one a week. But then I turn that long form video into maybe 3 or 4 shorts. And so that's the big path that I had to kind of learn and grow from, was, you know, to create some sort of routine. Because YouTube, as much as it's a great platform, it punishes people who don't put out consistent content. So if you're one of these people that, you know, make one video a month, your channel's not going to grow no matter how good your videos are. I know that from experience, because when I started putting out like artist retrospectives or little mini biographies about artists, those videos did great, but because they were so sparse, you know, some of my videos were like months apart, my channel wasn't growing, but those videos got really good numbers. And the only problem is that the algorithm rewards people who put stuff out constantly. A good example of that is my buddy Gamer Thumb. He's constantly live streaming. He's constantly putting out videos, and his channel's grown, you know, tremendously. And you know, for the amount of videos that I have on the channel, it kind of confuses people. Like, you have so many videos, but you only have so many. And a lot of that is just consistency. I just wasn't consistent, you know, from the pandemic up until probably late last year is when I really started going a little bit harder with online creation, because that's when I got sidelined. Obviously, February and April, when I was in the hospital, everything slowed down to a crawl. But I knew that I had to do something to keep my mind busy, and sharing art and tips and just drawing online was the best way to do that. So I'm going full speed now. Like, I am, you know, in order to make my process a little faster and a little bit better quality, I got like a little wireless mic, and it connects right to my iPad, so I can record my voice at a clear, concise way and not have any like atmospheric issues ruining the audio. And I made sure to take my time creating videos. Like, I won't just turn the camera on and just not have a goal in mind. The last few videos, it's been pretty as concise as I can be, because as many of you know me in real life, my mind is very all over the place. I'm not sure if it's ADHD or if I'm on the spectrum, but I I can kind of go all over the place. So that's always been a detriment, but at the same time, that's what makes me me. And if you stay on the channel for that reason, then I guess I'm doing okay. But there's some people that just need, you know, constant stimulation, and when I am going off topic, that can be kind of a downside to this. One of the biggest recommendations I always tell people with their YouTube videos is to kind of plan it out, have an idea in mind, but if you want to go in like I do, where I kind of wing it with the topic. So like, you know, this video is about growing your channel and some of the mistakes I made, because my channel's still not big by any means. I'm still sub 3 10,000. And that's the next big goal right now, is to get to 10,000 subscribers, which I always forget to do, but please like, share, and subscribe. But I've been doing this long enough where I've learned the mistakes that I've made and some of the things I won't do if I ever decide to do like a second channel, which I do have kind of already made like another channel, but I haven't uploaded anything to it. It's called Graphite and Pixels. I just wanted to make sure that I can grab the username for it so that no one else, Jesus Christ, I can't get this. No one else takes that name. I can't get this curve right. See what I mean? I'm all over the place. So I just thought of the idea of Graphite and Pixels because I draw digitally, but then what is going on with this line? I draw digitally here. I'm just going to have to do this. I draw digitally and I draw with pencils, so let's do arc. There we go. Much better. I hate using that. I like drawing the line myself. There you go. Done. So that's why I created that channel, Graphite and Pixels, which was going to be more of the background part of creating. So like, how do I use my tools and what tools I use. But on this channel, the Art Sensei channel is more just learning the basics. And one of the basics of YouTube is the biggest thing I can just drill into anybody is just consistency. Just being consistent with what you're doing. I'm gonna brighten this up just because when it captures the video, for some reason it makes my canvas super dark. By the way, this is just another model that I found on oh my god, I can't believe I forgot the name of it. The website that you pull pictures from. Anyways, it was license free, so I didn't have to, worry about copyright or anything like that. And I changed her face enough and her body enough. One of the things that helped me, get a lot better at drawing was just drawing, figure drawing and drawing from life. So now when I, if I wanted to, I can kind of alter this and kind of create like a robot arm, Anyways, back to the, see what I mean? I'm all over the place. Back to the topic, which is, the mistakes I've made. Another mistake I made was in the beginning, I was focused only on subscribers, and you can't do that. In order to grow organically, you just have to focus on just making good content. I know it's hard, but I tell people if you're going to go into the art niche, which is, I would say it's one of the bigger communities on YouTube, but it also is like the hardest to stand out from because a lot of it's kind of like tech YouTube where a lot of the channels feel the same. It's always some guy in front of a camera talking about tech. So you have to be, a little bit more cognizant of how unique your presentation is, and put something out there that somebody would find useful. A good example of that is there is an artist called Jazza, Draw with Jazza, and what makes his channel so approachable is that he kind of aims at beginner artists. And his channel kind of, focuses on being a beginner and approaching things from a beginner standpoint, and he's in the millions. And I knew his channel grew organically because I was a subscriber of his for a while, and I remember when he first started, the number was a lot smaller, but his numbers kept growing and his content kept evolving. So I knew that he was choosing to go with a more catered and making a smaller niche out of already a small niche. And in YouTube, that they reward you for that. So finding that nice happy medium where you're still doing art, but you're following that kind of small niche all the way to the end, that's always going to be huge. And then you got channels like, sorry, this pencil's giving me some issues. Mohammed Abdal, I'm going to butcher his last name, but Mohammed Abdali, I think is how you pronounce his name. His channel, he kind of goes through all the little controversies in the art community, and you know, drama sells, so his channel's grown quite a bit. But he also has a lot of useful information on there. Because it's such a small community, there's a lot of overlap, and there's a lot of bad actors in every community. And so you got people who trace, people who use AI art and pass it on as real art. You got controversies with people calling other people swipers, you know, taking their designs and making it their own. Excuse me, I'm still like super under the weather. I think it's the air conditioner. Anyways, so his channel's grown quite a bit because, you know, the drama in any community always is interesting. You know, I am guilty of following some drama. Like right now there's a drama with this YouTuber called The Quartering, and he's kind of a piece of crap. And he's always kind of been a piece of crap, but now it's just coming to the light because he, you know, false strikes. And that's another thing I learned is, you know, stay in your lane and don't try to, you know, if someone does something, and like I had someone swipe one of my videos once, that is the proper use of the copyright system. So you can go after somebody if they steal your content. Now, if someone is, you know, actually using it as an educational thing or to criticize and it falls under fair use, that's when you shouldn't go after people. And that's what this man was doing. He was striking channels just for being critical of them and got channels shut down. And so I followed that because it affects small channels too. This is like, you know, a 2 or 3 million YouTube channel, you know, striking down channels with, you know, less than 100K subscribers. So, you know, that affects me, and I will fall under that. So those are dramas that, you know, you want to keep your channel, you know, free of it, but it's okay to follow because it directly involves, you know, copyright and free speech on the platform, because that is a way to shut down your detractors, is by shutting down their ability to speak freely. And you know, and if your video is transformative and you're following all the rules, there's no reason why you should get, you know, struck down. So, you know, pieces of crap like The Quartering, and you know, there's been other false flaggers in the past, but, you know, steer clear of those kind of people. So if you are gonna go down the drama route, just know that they use the tools on YouTube to hurt other channels. So be wary of that. I learned that. That's one of the lessons I learned from far away. So luckily no one's ever struck my channel, but I also credit everything that I use, and I, you know, as long as it's a known figure, I will credit who I'm using it from, and I credit the photographer if I can find who the photographer is. So those are all things where you kind of have to watch your back. and make sure that you don't run into, you know, legal trouble. Because as an artist, we already don't have tons of money to fight legal battles in court. So that is one of the things I tell people all the time, and I learned from others' mistakes. Another thing I learned by being a YouTuber for this long is that you're going to get periods where no one watches your videos, and you cannot let that bring you down. If you notice that one of your videos you put in so much time and effort in and it's not really hitting, maybe just go back and see like what did I do wrong. But sometimes it's just the algorithm. Sometimes the algorithm just doesn't bless you, and you know, that's okay. The thing is creating, and this is a term I learned from being on YouTube for so long. It's called evergreen content. It's content that you can always go back to 2, 3, 4 years from now and it's still relevant. Like, I watch videos from Cynic's design, and they're probably almost as long as I've been on the platform, but they're still relevant. Whereas if you're gonna go down this YouTube route and you're gonna cover things that are, you know, like news, controversies and stuff like that, just know that that is not evergreen. That's not, you know, who's still talking about, you know, things that happened in the news, you know, other than the big things. But when something big happens, the 24-hour news cycle is now shrunk to like a 5-minute news cycle. It seems like something's always happening. So what was big news one day is kind of like the back burner the other. And that is not evergreen content. Evergreen content is more content like tutorials. And so I would recommend, if you are going to try to do a channel that's more controversy based or more, you know, current events, is to sprinkle some tutorials in your channel so that you have some evergreen content to always be in the algorithm, so you don't fall into that trap. Another thing I learned is not just consistency, but shaking things up a little bit. So if, you know, and that kind of falls under the whole evergreen content. If you notice like you're kind of stagnating, or you're just not having fun with it anymore, look for something else within that niche that can help, or just entirely switch your niche. I know a lot of video game YouTubers, or started off as video game YouTubers, and then they pivot to something else, and that's okay. Because I always said, if you're not having fun doing this, then why do it? You're better off just getting a regular job at that point. And don't feel discouraged having to work another job. Like, I've never relied on YouTube as, you know, a steady income. Most of my income on this channel has come from partnerships with you know, other artists who've created brushes and tools, and I always disclose it. So I'm always like, hey, I got this product for free and I'm checking it out. There's other times where I've paid for the product and then I've asked to become a partner. So that means like I'll have a link in my description that kind of, you know, sends you to their website so you can buy stuff from them. So those are things that I've learned. I think in the past I might do another video about things that I won't ever do again. I think that list would be a lot longer. But I hope you enjoyed this video, watching me kind of doodle this pinup. And if you have any questions or concerns, or even tips that I can learn from, please do leave it in the comments. And if you made it this far, leave a little cat in the comments. I love cats. I got 2 tigers tattooed on me. And let me know. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all of you. And as always, don't forget to keep it over 9,000. Take care.